Welcome to the Broskiedoodles Podcast. Your boy KIKO Cervantes here with you. I got some interesting shit I gotta share with you guys. Hope you're starting a great week today. I hope you have everything under control. I hope you're getting a raise soon. If not, ask for that shit. There's inflation coming and there's already shit that's more expensive. You can already notice this. But that's not what we're talking about today. Subscribe to the thing, share it. All right, play it to your family members. Like, hey, look, this is a guy, it's really cool. Have them subscribe. A man has died after being gored at a bull running festival in Spain, right? So there's this city in Spain. It's called Onda. There's many cities where they practice this type of activities. But in this specific situation, it was in the city of Onda where they do this, it's like a run of the bulls where they go through the different streets of the city and a bull is like running behind you, right? Some of you have seen this in the past. It's quite the festive activity here in Spain. I haven't been in one of those and I don't really plan to be in them. And, this is one of the things that happens, it's very unfortunate. I'll give you a little bit of the official news. The 55-year-old man was repeatedly charged by a bull during the Feira de Onda event. It's like the fair. On Saturday, October 30th. Authorities confirmed that after sustaining a wound to his left thigh that perforated his femoral artery, the man bled to death at a hospital in the nearby town of Villarreal. Emergency services also added that the man, who had not been named, suffered a wound to his head. So I don't know if there's videos of this. I don't really like watching shit like that, but it's very unfortunate. And I always wonder whenever I saw this shit, this type of events, I was like, how is it that there's not more people that get injured? Because it just looks so fucking dangerous, And this is something that also hurts the bulls. The bulls have to run in like cobblestone, so this is not comfortable for them. And but there's people that would argue, hey, that's culture, just like bullfighting, right? They kill the bull at the end in most cases. And yeah, some people say that that's cruel. Others say, look, that's tradition. We've been doing this for hundreds of years. Others would say, well, we were doing many things for hundreds of years and then we decided to stop doing them because we thought they weren't good, So, I try to respect. I try to take both sides in and analyze from a very objective point. I don't like to fanatize over one side or the other because I think there's value to be gained from both sides. But this is fucked up. According to the reports, other participants at the festival had attempted to distract the bull and entice it away from the man, but were unsuccessful. When these bulls are doing the thing, if they get sort of fixated on you, they're going to keep fucking charging at you. And I think sometimes in the world, people don't realize how strong animals are. And, nothing against the animals. These are wild animals that you're putting in a very uncomfortable situation, and this goes for people that have tigers as pets, of monkeys, man. And I understand there's some people that are professionals at it, but in many cases, it's somebody that has no business, having this animal. People in general shouldn't have these animals. These are wild animals, and you gotta respect wildlife. And when it comes to bulls, man, if you're fucking with them, this is the type of shit that's gonna happen. I can't even, begin to think how fucked up it is to die from this, but that's what happened here. If you're ever in Spain, if you go to any of these events, see it from afar, make sure you're not in it because this shit is mad dangerous, man. And people think it's fucking around. All right, well, there's another thing that I saw that I wanted to talk about that really opens up the debate for the future of sports. And for people that are not too familiar with football, don't worry about the name. This is a football player, right? Soccer. This is like a soccer player, right? In Europe. But yeah, so Christian Eriksen is the guy. Faces the possible end of his career after Inter Milan, which is the team that he plays for in Italy, announced that they must sell him because he is banned from playing in Italy because he has an implanted defibrillator that he had put on his heart following his cardiac arrest in the Euro Cup 2020. So in the Euro Cup 2020, this player, Christian Eriksen, he fell, in the middle of the game and sort of collapsed. And he had like a cardiac arrest. This has happened in the past. There's been situations where the football player actually dies on the field. And, in all situations, obviously, it's very unfortunate, very sad. Thankfully, this player didn't die when he had his cardiac arrest. They did, give him medical attention, and eventually his doctors decided that he needed to be implanted a defibrillator, right? So this is like a machine that regulates your heart beating. And apparently what it would do in his case is that whenever his heart started having a weird beating pattern, which apparently, happens in his case, then this thing will sort of regulate it and make sure that he didn't get a cardiac arrest or anything. It just sort of helps regulate the heart's beating rhythm. It's like the metronome. It's like it just keeps shit in order. And look how crazy this is. So in Italy, he's being banned from playing because now the law in Italy says that you can't play, with like an electronic device inside of you. And this opens the questions like, how is it gonna be in the future when we start having like bionic shit going on, like a person that has a bionic arm? Like we already have the conversation about trans people in sports, right? But imagine like trans, I don't know, it wouldn't be trans species, but it would be like, it would be hard to even like go to the debate, but like I would bet that there was gonna be like a social group that's gonna be like, hey, we should let the bionic people also participate. So you're gonna have sports where maybe some guy has like, he had a leg amputated, but they put like a bionic leg and he can play even better than you. It's very interesting to see what's gonna happen in the near future with technology advancing so much. And what ends up happening, and this is something that I've noticed in my upbringing, is that technology these days goes so fast that we as humans cannot even adapt the processes that we have already to that technology. And you can see this like with the law. The internet, it takes so long for laws to catch up to the internet because when the laws were created, they couldn't even predict that the internet was going to exist. So that's why, social media and all these platforms are now being regulated and being looked into with like a deeper, a deeper scope, because now the law's catching up. But I think that technology is going to keep advancing so quick, and we're always going to be in this situation where we're going to be stuck. I don't know what this player, Christian Eriksen, is going to do. Maybe he can go to another league where they don't have any anti-bionic laws, where they will allow him to play with a defibrillator. It's sort of crazy, right? Because this is not like an enhancing thing. Like, this is not like a machine that's making his heart work better than it would without it. It's just making sure that he doesn't like die, So, but I can understand from the other side, like, well, you need to make standardized rules, and if you allow this and somebody else can come with another device that makes them better, it's crazy to think about all this because it is a very new ground that we haven't covered before as a humanity, right? There's already people that get like an arm or a leg, and they're super good, like they're robotic. They can even, like, you wouldn't know that they had an issue, right? Like, well, it's not that, I'm not saying that if you are missing a limb that you have an issue, but I'm saying you have a limitation there. And with this new technology, you already have people that have a leg or an arm that works so good that it's like, it almost doesn't make his life any different from anybody else that doesn't have any missing limbs. So now imagine in the next 5-10 years when robotics keep improving and AI, I just think we're in for some interesting times. I think, we have some really interesting years coming in the next 50 years. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Well, that's the news on that side of the globe, with a little bit of that European sports. I mean, I wouldn't say bull running is an official sport, but man, it's definitely an extreme sport. So now we jump to the US. On Netflix, there's a recent documentary by Colin Capearnick, right? The football player. This is now football in America, so it's American football. And we all know the story, right? He kneeled, in the anthem of NFL games to protest against social injustice in the U.S. And, well, in any case, we all know Kaepernick has been very vocal, and, he's become more of an activist than a player. And one of the things, I saw some of the documentary, or, yeah, if it can be, I don't know if it's a documentary, but, and, yeah, it's very pandering, but one thing that he uses, right, as a comparison is that NFL, like the way that they pick players, he says it's identical to like slavery. And to me, I mean, I gotta be honest, it's a bit crazy because like it's so crazy to compare those two things, and it almost like it could be seen as an insult to like actually what really happened with slavery. Like that it's a horrible part of history that happened not only in the US but worldwide. And it was a horrible practice, but like the main thing, right? The main things that make slavery is, well, one, the fact that you're doing this against your will, right? And two, that you're not getting paid for it, right? So when you are going to be a football player, this applies to any athlete, you're doing this out of your own will. Nobody's obligating you, and you're getting paid for it. And in many cases, you're getting paid very well. So I just thought it was a bit crazy to compare it. I understand that he's nitpicking the fact that I would, from how he explains, this type of selective processes are very strict. They're very stringent. So I can see how you would feel almost like violated when they're like measuring every little thing about your body. But I'm not a professional athlete. I like sports, but I wasn't born with like the talent, right? The God gift of like just being a fucking amazing athlete, which some people are. And you gotta understand that it's a competitive world. Let me use a comparison here for you. I come from Venezuela, right? And Venezuela, South American country, we as a country are really good at beauty pageants, right? We have beautiful women. Well, we're just beautiful people. I mean, look at me, cute as fuck. But we got beautiful women. And, that's a main part of why Venezuela has won, I think, the most world beauty pageants, right? But there's another aspect of it, and it's the strategy part. The people behind the beauty girl, right? Like, it's like a whole team that prepares this girl to be as beautiful as she can be. And if you saw how this shit worked behind the scenes, and I'm just talking about Venezuela, but this happens worldwide. In Venezuela, it's brutal, man. Like, they search for girls all around the country. In some cases, in very humble areas, because you have beautiful girls that might not have the economic resources to sort of come up in the modeling world. So, they kind of find these diamonds in the roughs, and then they start sort of building them up. Oh, you need a little more operations here. Oh, your teeth need to be like this. Oh, your nose might need an operation. Imagine how crazy and deep the comparison and the nitpicking of your body when it comes to the beauty pageant. Like if you thought, for example, as an athlete, they were looking at every aspect of you to see if they choose you for their team or not. Here, they're changing your body. They're pressuring you into getting a boob job, into getting your nose worked, into getting your face lift and shit, so that you could be this beautiful girl that we're gonna send in this beauty pageant. Like, that's very dark shit. Like, it's dark shit that's But when you go into those worlds, that's what it is. Like, you gotta be clear about that. Just like, if you're an actor, I mean, that's gotta be one of the filthiest worlds to move in. Like, when you go to do a casting, right? They're looking at every little thing about you. Like, oh no, he looks too fat, or no, he looks too Latino for this role, or no, he looks too ethnic, or whatever it is. And that's part of it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't voice our opinions about how those things are bad, but comparing that to slavery, to me, is insane. Like, that's just competition. Like, the human nature is very competitive. And I would agree if you told me, look, man, the selection process for football and for many things in life, when it comes to the elites of the elite, is very strict, is very hard, and it could get to the point where it even traumatizes you. That's why being the elite of the elite is so fucking hard, because the pressure fucks with your mind. So I would say that in general, the selective process for any top tier position of any activity, not just sports, but a lawyer or whatever, is gonna be rough. It's gonna be competitive, and it's gonna be dirty games. Now, like I said, comparing that to slavery, that's that's crazy. That's far-fetched. That's far-fetched. But in any case, man, I just wanted to give my opinion on that, because for some reason that example of the beauty pageant girls in Venezuela came to mind, because I'm like, man, those girls go through so much shit. They get paired up with like government officials so that they could be escorts for them. There's a whole like dirty world, behind the beauty pageant world in general. But in Venezuela, because of the nature of the country and how corrupt it is, it's a breeding ground for like fuckery and just shady shit, But anyways, changing the subject, I was chilling with my friends and recently, and they have a kid. I'm at that age, I'm 32, and everybody who having kids, I'm just like, what the fuck? Nobody wants to chill, play Xbox with me. No, they just want to have kids, and I don't get it. But they're happy, they're enjoying their process, their experience. And one thing that I noticed, right, and I'm not saying any of my friends do this, but I've seen this in general. Those parents that are always praising their kids, like they're always celebrating how smart their kid is, how good their kid is at this and at that. And I get it. I understand that I'm being an asshole about it because I don't have a kid, and I'm sure that when I have a kid, I'm gonna think my kid is the best in the world. But part of me also says I don't think I'm gonna do it like I see it sometimes out there with some people going a little overboard with that shit. It's a little creepy. It's like, yeah, my kid, he's so smart, and he's in his school. They put him in the high percentile of the classes because he's like, yo, like, I don't know. It sounds fucked up. Like, don't say it. But like, if I have a kid that's really smart, and he's actually really smart, and I'm proud of it, like, I just keep it to myself, man. I don't need to be telling everybody about it. There's some people that just need to tell you about how their kid is the fucking shit, And you know what's fucked? That what ends up happening in most cases when you have a parent that's very, excited about their kid, the kid is actually not that good at anything, or like, I remember there used to be this guy. Like, I used to play baseball when I was younger, and I wasn't too good, but I was decent, Whenever I wanted to do good, I was decent. And there was this kid, right, whose parents came to every practice, to every game. They, like, set up this whole shit with like a cooler with drinks and like cheering and shit. And this kid wasn't that good, and they would just like celebrate him like as if he was the best. And in my case, my parents never really went to see me play much. And I was decent. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I don't know if it did that kid any good to always feel and think that he was a shit when he wasn't. I almost feel like, and I think my parents were amazing, like, not that just because they weren't there in every fucking baseball game means that they weren't cool, but they were different type of parents. They had all this shit to do. But one thing that I do feel like helped me is that my dad never tried to like pamper me or make me feel like I was better that I was. He was actually very hard with criticism. He'll be like the type of dad that's like, if I'm like playing basketball or something and I'm fucking up, he's like, yo, man, get the fuck out the court. Don't embarrass your family. Like, that type of dad, but he wasn't, ill-minded or evil-hearted about it. He was just, he wouldn't, give me praise for shit that wasn't praiseful. And I actually appreciate that, because that allowed me to not grow up thinking that I was entitled to shit, or that people owed me things and that I was special. And that's a problem that you see these days. Whenever you meet somebody, they're like, yeah, you look like when you grew up, your parents always said that you were the shit, that you were the special. And that shows, it shows that you have some fucked up shit, some fucked up shit in you, as a parent, I think I'm gonna, give credit where it's due to my kids, but also let them know that, they're not special in this world, and they need to work for shit, that they need to, be go-getters, that you need to make shit happen, you need to be action people, and not just think that the world owes you shit, In the first world, we're so pampered these days that you have all these fucking kids thinking that everybody owes them shit, and I think it's very bad for society to have that mentality, But in any case, have kids. Just, fucking raise them well, Raise them well and shit. No fucking... Bro, if you've been in a little party of kids and you see a kid that's just causing ruckus, just causing chaos, and his mom doesn't fucking do anything to keep him, away from endangering other people's life, yo, fuck that family. Yo, fuck those people. Don't invite them again. I'm gonna be the type of, bro, I'm a cool people to be cool, around with. If I have a little barbecue going, bro, I'm gonna have the drinks. I'm gonna have the fixings. I'm gonna have the fucking fixings. I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna be coming through with the jokes, with a little commentary. I'm gonna be coming through with the educative shit, but also the funny. I'm gonna be bringing it all. So it's gonna be in your advantage to be near me, to be friends with me, to make me feel comfortable that you could be around me. Now, if you don't fucking raise your kids well, and when you bring them into a reunion with other people, you just let them run wild like he's a fucking wild boar, just breaking TVs and shit, yo, fuck that. You're never coming back. You're never getting invited. Never getting invited. There's no warning. There's no 3 times a strike. 1 time, that's it. I only need 1 time to know, oh, okay, yeah, you are a piece of shit family. You're not coming to the next fucking birthday party. And that's how I'm doing it. So keep your fucking kids educated. Teach them manners. Okay? All right, I have a little movie review. Okay? This is it might be a little bit late for this review. But, hey, man, I'm watching the classics. I recently watched the what's it called? The Trinity? No. The trilogy of Lord of the Rings, dog. I fucking watched Lord of the Rings. I know, you might be thinking, what? That's like fucking, 20 years? That's almost 20 years old. Yes, it is. But I watched it. And you know what I realized to start off with Lord of the Rings? And spoiler alert, yeah, if you haven't watched this shit, you're fucked, You can't be more fucked than me that I hadn't watched in 18 years. Lord of the Rings, to start off, the 3 movies last about 10 hours. So that could be, in today's world, a 10-episode series. And it would have been an amazing 10-episode series. In that time when this was made, series weren't a thing really like today. So they just made it into 3 to 4 hour movies, which is a little heavy. I had to watch it in parts, but I gotta say, man, even though Lord of the Rings, that whole fairy shit and Game of Thrones type style movies, they're not really my style. It's not really my style, this type of adventure, elves and shit movies. It's not my style. But even then, I could appreciate the dialogue and the really craftsmanship that you can see on these movies. It was really great storytelling, And the effects, the graphic effects on this movie really aged well. You know, I recently saw another trilogy, which was Matrix. And I think I already spoke about this on a previous episode. And it was the last two Matrixes, the number 2 and 3, were made around the same time as Lord of the Rings. And you can tell, man, Matrix used like a shitty company for graphics. And Lord of the Rings had the top of the line people in the graphics section. Because, man, Matrix 2 and 3 don't hold up when it comes to graphics. There's some weird takes there where it looks like a bad video game. Lord of the Rings, man, I couldn't find anything that didn't fit right. This is almost 20 years ago, bro. And this was made so fucking well. The graphics, everything. I do gotta say, the Hobbits, bro, they're a little fruity cake out there, you know. And I'm not saying, you know, that has nothing to do with, you know, homosexuality and homoerotic experiences. I'm cool with that, you know. I got friends that are into the homoerotic experiences. That's fine. I'm talking about like fruity pebbles. You know, I'm talking about fruity cakes. I'm talking about like hobbits that are always like, "Hey Sam, what's up, Sam? Oh my God, Sam, you're so dumb." You know, it's like, yo, that's how hobbits act. They were like very fluffy, like just very. Like they had like an Instagram filter, like a beauty filter the Hobbits had all the time. It's just weird. And they were always looking at each other with like, again, it has nothing to do with same-sex, you know, exchange of fluids. I'm cool with that. I champion that type of activity. What I'm trying to say here is, it was a little bit uncomfortable. Like if you guys want to fuck, but don't be, you know, you're taking a ring to a fucking volcano. Don't be coming with like this little vibe where they all want to like fuck each other. You know, it's just weird. Again, I already praised the movie. The movie's amazing. So I'm just going to hate on little things that I noticed. Smeagol. Why the fuck wasn't Smeagol killed in the first instance? How is it that you have Smeagol fucking up your whole parade, your whole adventure, and this motherfucker's led to live? I would have hit Smeagol in the head with a rock and split him open like a fucking oyster. That little fucker, you could tell he was up to something the whole time. And Sam knew this. Sam told him many times, yo, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. And then Frodo's like, no, Smeagol is nice. Yo, fuck Smeagol. I would have fucked him up from the beginning. I told my friend this. He's like, well, but then there wouldn't have been a movie. I'm like, well, but that's not an excuse, you know, for lazy writing. I'm just kidding. It was a really good movie. And I'm just saying, bro, Smeagol, I feel like you could have made him feel more real. Like, in what sense? Like, more sneaky. Like, I felt like if I was Frodo, I would have fucking known this guy was sneaky. Like, he wasn't like good about it, like keeping a secret that he was gonna fuck him up. He was very like open about it. When they would sleep, he would like talk to himself like, I'm gonna fuck him up. So I don't know. I wasn't with that. Besides that, I mean, great movie, but not my style, man. It was a little grueling in some parts of it, just keeping up with it, the many battles. But you know, all in all, I think if you put that into a 10-episode series, that would be an amazing show. What's the problem today? If you have an idea like that, the motherfuckers today would probably make it into a 30-episode, 3-season series that would drag the fuck along, that wouldn't have the substance on each episode. But that's how they do it these days, you know? But what can I say? If you like Lord of the Rings, please let me know. I know I'm a little late on the review, but hey, it's a classic. You should see it again if you're into the elfy shit and into the fruity pebbles with the fucking hobbits. There's another movie with the hobbits that comes after, but I don't know if I'm going to be watching that. Please let me know what comments you have about all the other topics we had. Subscribe to the thing, share it, and once again, thank you for tuning in to the Broskiedoodles Podcast. Peace!